But let's send this over to Lando and Standy, where we have a birthday.
Happy
Standy.
birthday,
Happy
brother. You look
birthday,
good.
baby.
Come on. Thank you guys.
Happy
Thank you.
birthday
to you. Happy birthday. You old as shit now, boy. Happy birthday. Go ahead, take it away.
I was happy to keep rolling. I don't know, maybe have some birthday candles possibly. Jay, I've decided to decorate a little bit for you. Happy birthday, buddy. How you feeling? 27 and looking beautiful, my good sir.
I feel good. I feel good, my friend. You know, waking up this morning a different age. Now I'm 27 years old. I had a little bit more back spasms, but it was because we have this match in front of us. This match is going to be insane between Toronto and Minnesota. Minnesota, obviously, they are trying to just change their story for this team. Ever since they made that roster move for Havok, everything has just started to turn around. They're playing SMG maps. They're looking really good at theirs. And then they battled. They took over LA last week. Now they're trying to conquer the North, and it's going to be tough because Toronto Ultra, you can never count them out.
You definitely can't, man. This is going to be a blast, right, for the Battle of the North. By the way, I like how I'm asking you about your birthday and you just instantly get back to COD. You are a
100%.
You're a monument to modesty, buddy. A good man that you are indeed. But as you said, here are our maps and modes when it comes down to it. You saw that Minnesota did win the coin toss, by the way. I don't know if I've ever noticed that graphic, but shout out to the team for getting it done. As we said, $10,000 is on the line extra for this match. It's going to be a fun one. Bounty week is in full effect, and we're kicking things off here on the cage. Everybody trying to earn that bread as we will load it into your tour Bocage in just a few moments. But Jay, your initial thoughts of Bocage between both of these teams?
Yeah, so Bocage is going to be a little bit scary on the side of Toronto because the last 4 times they played it, they have lost. For Minnesota, so far, ever since picking up Havok, they're sitting at 2-0. So this is going to be the story of the series for me. Whoever can take this map at number 1, if it's Minnesota, I feel like they're going to have that good momentum to take that S&D, and this series might get done in 3. This is a map that I feel like Toronto Ultra need to take to extend this series.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting series. Obviously, it's Bounty Week. Obviously, it's the Battle of the North. But also, like we've talked about, both of these teams have been on the upward trend. And, buddy, unfortunately, the teammate comes through. But a lot of the reason for the upward trend has become on this very mode, Hardpoint. Both of these teams seeing a lot more success as of lately. Granted, they both sit at like 11th and 12th in the standings, but you wouldn't know that based on their performances as of late as Minnesota wiped the board at P1.
Yeah, Minnesota do a great job of getting 22 seconds off of that P1, but now with 10 seconds off the rotation, Inside and CleanX trying to work their way into bottom bar, and they're going to spot a couple players in towards back 10. But can he win these gunfights? CleanX is going to be able to take down one, challenges the second, not able to win it. So that's going to be Minnesota securing the spawns for the time being. They kill all the players off from the back. Now it's time to challenge it from the front. Toronto Ultra have a tie game now, but Minnesota should break now.
Yep, Minnesota should be in a good spot to be able to do so. P2, one of those hills where, like we've talked about it throughout the season, one of those where at times you have the ability to slow it down. And right now, it's exactly what Minnesota have got. A slowed down Bocage for the moment, but that pace is about to get elevated as we take a look at Havok's perspective right now. The man's getting all kinds of greasy inside of top grandmas. Never thought I'd say that sentence in my life, but right now he sits on 5 in a row. Jay, 2 away from the glide bomb.
Oh, and unfortunately gets stiffed out right there by CleanX, but Minnesota are doing a great job of flipping these spawns. Right now, Toronto Ultra, they're going to be spawning towards that lower water side. 15 seconds remaining. Standy off the rotation. He's able to win that initial gunfight in towards top grandmas, but now you cannot allow any players to sneak through. Look at the position of Cammy. As he's going to win a huge one-on-one versus Bance, but they just have to take care of Cammy. They cannot allow this guy to be a playmaker and potentially flip these spawns for them.
See if he's successful in doing so. Attached, Cammy instantly there for the trades, and Priestahh with that assault rifle holding things down toward the back. There's been a lot of talk, Jay, about his performance. There's been all kinds of speculation on if he has been able to really be the guy that they need. A lot of controversy, right, for the Minnesota side, and dropping somebody like Major Maniac to keep Priestahh on the team. And now he's in one of the bigger spots as they'll be needing him to go off in multiple positions like this throughout the series.
Yeah, if I'm Priestahh, honestly, from watching what they were doing last week, like, he's really just cooling it. Like, he's allowing his SMGs and his flex player in attach to just run around and get these kills. He's just trying to secure the spawns for the team, basically doing the dirty work. So that's the thing that I feel like for this Minnesota roster, ever since this roster change, has definitely shown improvements, that their pacing is completely different. Everybody is in sync. That's why you see them start to pull out some of these hardpoint wins. They're seeing them take a couple of these respawns. 7 out of 9 in their last couple have been victories. So everything is just changing for this team. If they continue their search and destroy, get a little bit more consistent in their respawns, they definitely have a contender for a championship.
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like if you're looking at stats, everyone's like, okay, well, you know, Priestahh's maybe not living up to the same, you know, level that we expect. Well, at the same time, as you said, man, the stats speak for themselves when we talk about the overall idea of how these rosters have played. Is we've got some mixy fights going down through middle. Minnesota, that much more of a threat in these opening hard points ever since adding Havok to the lineup, seen a few of those role changes. But right now, it is Toronto trying to hold things down inside of bottom barn. CleanX, though, without a doubt, the player to focus on right now for Ultra. He's doing a great job so far. Clear skies, it looks like, for Toronto, and a large part of that is because of the damage that's being done on the outside. But just as we highlight that, 4 go down, Minnesota now in the HP.
So now Toronto, they did a great job of just getting a good chunk of time off of this P4 hardpoint. Now with the rotation, you have to win a couple gunfights. Attach and Standy able to combine for 3, make it all 4 dead. Now easy rotations for Minnesota to now get set up properly for this P5 and take the lead right on back. This has been a back and forth game between both of these teams. Right when you think a team is going to set up properly, someone is going in, popping a 2-piece to make the break. Right there, Standy does it off the rotation to properly set up Minnesota. But now Trey's going back and forth. It's going to be a fight for the spawns now.
I was gonna say, man, like you've been talking about, it's been really no change so far throughout this bocage. It looked like maybe a glimmer of light there for Toronto to maybe carry that same cadence in toward P5, but damage done. And right now an open hill as Toronto will happily have a moment to maybe grab some seconds, and they will be successful in that venture. Priestahh gets dropped from the back, and with that, Toronto have some time to maybe sink their teeth into this hill. Cammy's still alive, mid, really stunned. Ends up getting dropped, nades, stuns everywhere. MP40 shots, out of baton bullets flying throughout bocage. There's a nice little nade landed there from Bance. Great little 2-piece as well as we reset and go back toward P1.
Okay, Benjamin, that's how you're shooting today. I see what type of time you on a 3 spree. He knows the spawns. He knows exactly where they're coming from. He's going to challenge the first. He knows the player slides right into bottom grandma's, not able to win it onto Havok, but this is going to be all gunfights coming down towards P1. The first go around, Toronto Ultra gave up about 25 seconds to the Minnesota Røkkr. You cannot allow that to happen again, because on this P1 specifically, this is where Toronto Ultra struggled. They only averaged about 7 points on this P1, giving up about 20. So you do not want that to come back and bite them at the very end of this game.
Oh, and take a look at Standy. Standy trying to make the play over for these next side spawns. So he's going to get found out. CleanX will give the calm communication over to his teammates, as we know Toronto likes to do. But right now, Standy still sits at the back of the base. 15 seconds left over at P1. But as we've talked about, this next rotation is going to be the focus for both of these rosters. And because of that play for Standy, he will give his teammates spawns for now. A few close ones inside of 10. As right now, Insight looks to pile on the pressure. Still back here, found out. Great win from Priestahh.
And now that's going to be Minnesota securing the spawn. You also have Standy on a 5 spree. If I'm Standy, I'm just like getting off of this point. I want to play for this glide bomb because it's going to be such a game changer. But let's just step aside now. Minnesota playing well. Let's see how the comms sound with the boys on the Minnesota Røkkr.
One shot. We need time here.
Rat door to back door.
I don't have backdoor right now.
He didn't hit backdoor. He's hit me back. He hit me back. He went back time.
Rat, watch out. There's 2 in barn. 2 in barn. One's absolute. Left corner. Rat. Nice. One more in barn.
I'm going top barn.
This is big time if we can get this.
Oh, watch out. Inside. He's dead. That's 3.
Oh, dead.
Nice. I got it.
Yo.
In-house, one shot. CleanX, one front door. CleanX, one shot going front door.
I'll get your ball.
I'm on top. Cammy's top.
I'm one shot.
I'm in A top.
Fill time.
Yeah, I'm filling in.
Top one shot. He's weak by nade top.
I'm working left.
I'll shot top.
Nice. 20-point lead. Deep breath right here. Let's get a break on this hill.
I have an nade. I'm in top.
He's not top peeking.
Coming left, you guys.
Oh my goodness, what a nice little communication sample that we got there at the end from Minnesota, trying to be calm, cool, and collected with the 20-point advantage that they have got as Standy looks to break on through. Let's step aside now toward the other end and listen with the Ultra boys.
What's happening?
Nice. Gonna be back left. I'm getting time.
I got time, Dad.
Guys, Priestahh, yeah.
I'll help
get them in the
I've hit the back left. I've hit the back left out. Priestahh still tower. I need help from the left. We're gonna push.
Right, let's flip.
I mean, two are there, bro. Oh my god. They're playing the right. They're playing the right.
Yeah, on me tower, Ben.
One shot, Standy. Standy's close on you. One shot. One more.
Standy. Back window,
Standy.
He was weak. Go on kitchen, maybe.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll kill him. Dead.
I spawned deep at it. I spawned deep.
I'll get this one.
Look for attach.
I think they spawned out, yeah.
Nice touch.
Yeah,
got heady.
I'm gonna back up here, Jimmy.
One's
towering you still.
Okay. Set up a good break here.
One's tower still. Priestahh, one's in hot as well.
Absolutely.
Hey, on me. Priestahh.
Priestahh's gate. Front kitchen going main. Absolute main.
And the communication right there for Toronto was hot fire. You could hear Bance the entire time, just letting his teammates know exactly where they're coming from. They're all attacking from that street side. That's what eventually allows Toronto Ultra to get a great hold on that P3 to take the lead right on back. But Minnesota, they're responding. They're trying to do everything they can in towards bottom barn. Priestahh is going to come out on top in the trade. Still basically a tie game.
Oh my goodness, back and forth affair, and you can kind of notice like the concern in Toronto's voices, Jay. I mean, we always talk about it. I've alluded to it earlier in this bocage that normally when we go to Toronto listens, it's like, yeah, you know, he's P5, okay.
Yeah.
You have no idea if they're up or if they're getting destroyed. I mean, they could be dominating somebody or just getting 100-point club. On this map, though, you can feel it. They are trying to take it to their rivals in the Minnesota squad. As back and forth we go, blow after blow exchange. The final 10 seconds are going to go the way now of Minnesota as Attach goes 25 and 25 after that engagement, and now it is a race toward new. Toronto prepared, but again, it could not be closer than this, Jay.
Yeah, it cannot be any closer than this. A trade already as Standy does find two through the middle of the map. You see the Toronto Ultra, they're trying to secure these spawns. They eliminate that player in Havok, who was trying to set up for that pinch, but now Minnesota are properly set up. You already have a player in Priestahh who's pushed that towards back elbow. He bees a little bit aggressive right there to give up his life for free towards Insight. So now that opens up the position for the Ultra to attack from that side. But Minnesota are doing a great job of just soaking up the time. And keep in mind, they've done it so far. The first two go-arounds on that P1, they've averaged about 20 seconds there. And Toronto have basically got nothing. So this is scary. Toronto need to break.
Toronto have done so at least for the moment. These final 20 seconds look good for them. Minnesota's got a decision to make. Do they rush this hard? Do they set up for next? Well, it could be Standy who makes his way through sewers. No, sir. Not going to happen today. Cammy has got some words. Takes him down. Thankfully, Priestahh is there to avenge his fallen comrade. But nonetheless, as we come back from the second side of rotations, it is now Toronto with the lead. Granted, not a massive one, but so far throughout this game, it feels like 18 points has got to be one of the bigger ones that we've seen so far. Toronto in the back of their spawn. Toward back grandmas is where they're coming from. And Standy lying in wait, prepare to take them off the spawn. As two are able to sneak on through. Player number 6 in Cammy might be thinking about spawns for the future. Still, a lot of time to be had, a lot of kills to be found. As Standy once more goes on the prowl and gets found out.
Yeah, right now, Toronto Ultra, they're not playing for any time, so they're allowing Minnesota to get right back into this game. They can find this kill onto Cammy. Havok, unfortunately, does not win the gunfight. So that's going to be 3 dead. Now the spawns flip. Toronto Ultra are going to be properly set up for that P2. Minnesota only down by 4 points. 15 seconds remaining on this P1 hard point. Toronto Ultra just need to get one wave of kills so they can set up properly. 221 to 214. This game is going down to the wire.
Jay, what are trees made of?
I don't know. They're
I
indestructible.
They apparently are. Nades, fire from your weapon. I have no idea. All I know is that Toronto are 20 seconds away from maybe securing this first hard point. Now make it 15. Minnesota struggling, fighting to try to get on through. The unfortunate team nade, though, comes through from Ultra, and Minnesota take advantage. Insight says a prayer, finds a crack inside of the shed and lets it go. Back and forth, we've got it. As Minnesota hold it for the time, Toronto, they're looking for the break.
And both of these teams can't win in here, but look at the play coming in from Bance. As CleanX eliminates that player from the point, Bance is going to be that cutoff man to at least locate these players that are pushed out, and that's a beautiful play coming in from Bance. He influences the spawns to now spawn all the way towards tower, and this is going to be Toronto Ultra's first map.
It will be Toronto locking up game number 1. What a matchup that it was throughout. I don't know what the biggest lead was, but it couldn't have been over 25 points. A back and forth game throughout. As Marky B makes his way in from the back and gonna give his boys a well-deserved high five, because they deserve it, man. Take it down to this Minnesota team who has been so hot in these opening hard points, who has been so solid just in general in the respawns. They do not grab this opening bocage. And really, Jay, you were talking about it coming into this series, how important this was specifically for Toronto. Catch some momentum, win in hard point, right? Get a respawn under your belt. They've done exactly that here.
That's good work from Toronto Ultra. The way that this game changes is that P3 hardpoint. Like Minnesota, when we ended there listening, you heard Havok say, all right, everybody take a deep breath. We're up by 20 points. Let's just focus on winning this rotation gunfights. But then they ended up losing them. And now that's when we jump into Toronto Ultra listening, where they were able to grow a 10 to 11 point lead at the end of that P3. Right there, it's still a wire-to-wire game. Like, it's very, very close between both of these teams. But then Minnesota, what they messed up on was at that P5. They did a great job of at least starting off with that initial time. But when Priestahh pushes out that back yell and gives up his life for free, you're basically giving up one line of defense that's not going to be watched anymore. You're only leaving the player on that point with the SMG in his hand to try to win a very difficult gunfight. Toronto Ultra were able to break in, put themselves up by 20 points, and at the very end of that P1, flip the spawns when they needed to secure it for that P2. That was beautifully played by the Toronto Ultra boys to make sure they secure this map number 1. Now they're going into a Berlin search and destroy, where it's not really going to be good for them because Minnesota, they're really good at that map. But to have a 1-0 lead when you have that Tuscan control, that Tuscan hardpoint in your back pocket for maps 3 and 4, it's the best case scenario for the Ultra.
Yeah, without a doubt, partner. That's the reason why we talked about how important this was for both teams, but specifically on the Ultra end, knowing that you've got that search destroy, which again, Minnesota unbelievably solid when it comes down to search destroy, and especially on our game number 2 on Berlin. But Ultra are able to have the first laugh of the Battle of the North as they will walk away with Bocage in a close affair, 250 to 226. And like we said, Jay, like I said, both of these teams have been on the rise as of late. I know, we talked about hardpoint records. It still isn't peachy keen, but like we said, the reason why Toronto has been on this swing has been because of those hardpoints. It's been because of certain players stepping up. Bance has been one, and well, a primary talking point for this Toronto team has been a lot on Cammy this season. He is a solid Bocage, and they get the job done in our first.
So now they have the momentum. Now you're going into a search and destroy where you haven't really found a lot of success. On that map specifically, they're sitting at 3 and 3 compared to Minnesota, who are 5 and 1. So on Berlin, you want to just take your time. That's what it is. Yeah. Like, they only find a little bit of success when they're attacking towards that A bomb. It's nice and slow. But for Minnesota, it's basically 50-50 on both sides. So you have to make sure you're just taking your time, not allowing their playmakers to be playmakers, filling your lanes and not leaving any openings, because that's where Minnesota always capitalize on. When they find a man advantage, they get the bomb down, they play it fundamentally correct, use the buddy system, everything in their favor. This is their game mode to win. If you're Toronto Ultra and you can take this is going to be a cruising series for them.
Yeah, it would feel great if you're Toronto, and now it's instantly Minnesota somewhat on the back flip. And as we said, they've got a great game mode ready and prepared. And a lot of it is because of that man on the left, the blonde beast himself. Good old Standy with a 1.18 KD. You also take a look at the percentage of team kills that he has as well. Nearly 30%. Excellent work from Mr. Eli on the other side. It is Winsight, Jay. The last time that we saw this Toronto team, it was them 6-0ing Seattle Surge on Tuscan, and it was Insight, the man with a crazy 1v2.
I feel like he always has a crazy clutch in Search and Destroy. Like, he's probably the only player on the Toronto Ultra side over a 1.0 KD, and that's simply for the fact that he clutches 1v2s and 1v3s with his eye closed. The guy is a man on a mission, and he needs to shut down his opposing opponent in Standy. Like, on that map, you saw those stats. He's like a 1.18, but on this map specifically, Standy is sitting at a 1.33. He has an SMG in his hand. You do not want to allow that guy to just run around and get hot, because he can take over whenever.
Yeah, and not to mention that it's been the respawns that have been great for Minnesota, but they've also won 5 of their last 6 search and destroys. Their only loss, I believe, was at the Pro-Am versus OpTic, and it was around 11 on Tuscan. So this team has been nearly untouchable throughout the season, and especially with Havok in this roster as of late. And the records, well, they speak for themselves. It has not been a great map historically for Toronto. Berlin has not been their strong suit, but like we said, it could be. Good old Jamie Craven to help lead the way, leading his team in overall KD and search destroy, and right now having a great start in this series with a 1.43. As we fly in for Berlin to kick this thing off, it will be Minnesota starting things off on attack.
Yeah, so Minnesota on this map, on offense, they are 55%. On defense, they are 55%. But the way that they like to play this map, at least early into these rounds, is slow and steady wins the race. So attack either site by taking your time, and they win it at 60% of the time. But that's going to be CleanX finding that opening first blood. They still have the bomb planted now in the 4v3 situation.
You've got to be happy as well if you're Toronto. Not only do you find the first pick, but CleanX, thankfully, somehow survives that sniper bullet, and also will take down Standy in the short term. Cammy as well. It's like, okay, well, there's only 2 players. One of them surely got to be on the bomb, as he and CleanX will be able to drop one Attached with a snipe. Now brings it to a 1 versus 3. Pistol in hand, and the snipe is prepared. Hits the fence, and with that, it will be a Toronto round through and through. And a large part of that is because of CleanX.
And that's massive too, because Toronto Ultra on this map specifically, they're 33% on their defenses. So they're actually better on their offensive side than they're on their defense. So to take that round number 1 is massive for them. It definitely comes down to CleanX finding that opening blood and then just keeping his presence in towards P5 to eventually find the second. Now in a 4v2, you know exactly how they're going to set up one player towards warehouse. They find the player on towards the site. And even with attached with a sniper pistol in his hand, he's had a lot of great clutches at S&D. Wasn't going to be an easy one there. Toronto Ultra, take the first one.
Yeah, never going to be easy. Even though you're in the primary position, you're in the golden spot, but you got 3 players who know exactly where you are. Never going to be easy. We're going to attach, but now it's Toronto's turn to take a whack at the attacking side, and a missed stun. Cammy still receive that one back inside of the office. Jay's looking like me in league play, or in ranked. I cannot throw attack to save my life.
And neither can I, but for some reason in this game, everything is indestructible. You cannot throw your tacticals through windows, trees, does not matter what it is. But a lot of the action going down towards B. Bance opens up with a great shot onto Priestahh. Find that opening blood, but does not know the positioning of Standy. Immediately turns it into a 3v3.
Oh, that's great timing as well for Standy. Just jumps right through the window. And speaking of timing, hello, 1, maybe even the second. CleanX, a 4-0 start, maybe a 5 brewing. He's got Havok ready and prepared. Thank you very much. Standy position known. And with that, he's got a 1v2 now left to clutch on up. Granted, bomb is going to be down. And how about the shots from range? Toronto close and afar. They could do no wrong on Berlin.
That's just good work right there from Ultra once again. Slowly towards B. They find that opening first blood. Priestahh does get taken down. And then right there, even though it turns into a 3v3, CleanX puts himself in a great position to watch that late flank. He finds the first and then repositions himself to find the second. And I'm pretty sure CleanX is on a 5 spree, so he has the potential to pick up a glide bomb as well. He's having a hot start to this game number 2.
He is indeed. Some great work so far from the Great Dane. We'll see if Minnesota can hold off the bark, hold off the bite. And right now, it has been the bite that has been much more worse to deal with. A quick and aggressive round over at the A site, but in fact, it is still CleanX doing the damage. 3 for 3 in first bloods for Toronto, and 2 of them have come at the hands of CleanX. Bomb planted early, a current 3 versus 4 as we say goodbye to Cammy. Toronto now left to retake.
Yeah, so now if you're CleanX, all you want to do is locate this player and have it pick up that glide bomb. Already 7-0 to start this game. Now in a 3v2 situation. Priest is going to be that player trapped in office. Vance does not spot him. So now in the 2v2, the challenge is going to be here. CleanX once again wins another one. Now Standy in the 1v2.
Oh, Standy can make the play. He's in a great spot. Is getting challenged. He's able to win the first. Oh, and CleanX will be there to lock him down. A scary 1v1, but it's CleanX. It's the king of Copenhagen to lock up this round and now give Toronto a hefty 3-0 start.
And right there, it's a complete blind count on the side of the Ultra, because in that round specifically, Minnesota, when they attack A really fast, they win it 80% of the time. But when they send 3 players on the flank to play towards that one player who's the island player, they take down attach on that late flank. So now they already have the man advantage. Eventually, it turns into a 3v3, but then they allow CleanX to jump back in, take care of Havok, put them in the 3v2. They were just playing their numbers correctly every single time a trade happened. And Toronto Ultra, so far, have been playing flawless search and destroy behind the back of CleanX.
Jay, it's not been Toronto. It's been CleanX.
Yeah, he's trying.
Now Cammy gets his opportunity. Now making 4 straight first bloods for Toronto as they just continue to dominate CleanX. I looked away for a second. I saw Toronto got a kill. And of course, it is CleanX again at 10-0 to start. Oh, and he's got some words for attach. Says a prayer attach. Yeah, he's dipping out of there. He's like, I am not messing with CleanX. I know exactly who that player is. Priestahh in a good spot, tries to tag up a few players on the cross, but unsuccessful in doing so. Attach still positioned toward the docks. A current 2 versus 3. Minnesota, we've got the nade. We'll see if Attach looks to play up this information. Gets the hit markers, but nobody there to challenge. Finally, CleanX falls 2v2.
And a 2v2. Just want to try to back up and play this clock correctly. It's going to be 30 seconds left. You see the way that Minnesota are playing this. They're probably thinking they're just going to be stacking towards back warehouse. But Bance is in a great position to at least set up this late flank. See the catch this player towards bottom B2. Now in a 2v1 situation with 20 seconds left. Attach is able to spot one towards back Bow House. but this is a tough task to try to get done. Just all you have to do is just stay alive, and Toronto Ultra are not messing around in this search and destroy. 4 clean rounds, 4 flawless rounds behind CleanX. He finally does get taken down, but now they still have a glide bomb to work with. This is not the Minnesota Røkkr that we have been seeing in the last couple of matches. The only search and destroy that they have lost has went in around 11. They have not gotten smoked. The Toronto Ultra, they're making this look easy.
Yeah, man, like this isn't just, you know, a run-of-the-mill, you know, team, you know, a roster that's kind of in the middle of the pack on search and destroy. No, this is one of the better search and destroy teams that we've got in the league. They have been on fire in this mode, as you said, and right now they are getting smacked around by Toronto. A 4-0 start. CleanX, by the way, as we said, 10-1 for him. Attach has got to be careful. He's got to be careful. Of course, it's CleanX. Feeling confident, decides to back up, and in doing so, he'll have to be making that rotation now with the rest of his squad mates. As Minnesota get the bomb down, it is another first blood again for Toronto. This time at the hands of Insight. And he'll find the second one as well. Perfect place nade. As now it's Priestahh and Attach to hold this thing down.
Okay, Priestahh finds one. Attach finds another, but Cammy wins a huge one-on-one versus Priestahh. Now Attach left in a 1v2. He knows the positioning of Cammy. He wins the first gunfight onto Bance. Only 15 seconds left. You just have to run. And this is looking like it's going to be a clutch from Attach. The clutch man in search and destroy plays the clock beautifully to secure the very first round for Minnesota. Wasn't easy, but they finally get on the board.
It was not easy at all. And Jay, it was so scary as well because Attach, who makes the play, very nearly got picked. I mean, a few more bullets for CleanX as he makes his way around P2, and we're talking about, okay, cool, another CleanX first blood, and the story goes on from there. But a very solid clutch for Røkkr. Was that a 2v4, by the way?
Yeah, 2v4.
Oh, God. That's all it took, Jay. That's all it took. Just a quick 2v4. That's it.
They only needed 3 kills in the 2v4. Like Attach, even if he dies to the very end, good job for him. So now, don't forget, like earlier in our last series, we saw an entire full sale. So
that's
anything is possible in search and destroy. Definitely never count Minnesota out.
That is facts, Jay. You're spitting them on your birthday.
Yeah.
Love that. Toronto stalled out for a moment. Standy has found himself in a great position. My only worry is that, again, Toronto has been so lethal, no pun intended, with the nades, that this feels like if something is placed properly, it could be a problem. Well, maybe not a nade, but how about a glide bomb right in your face? But Havok's able to avoid it. Great work there out of Minnesota to handle business, as Standy positional work will pay off. And Nilly has some words for CleanX. Man, it's been so hot to start off this game. If Minnesota can secure this round with the glide bomb being used, that would be huge. For one SMG to the other, everything starts to fall apart. Good night to Insight, and Minnesota starting to wake up. Back-to-back rounds.
That's beautiful work coming in from Minnesota. I'm pretty sure everybody straps on cold-blooded right there to make sure they don't pop up on that information when they call in that glide bomb. And that worked out beautifully as Standy finds that first blood, eventually plays it flight. Havok finds the second, and then eventually they were able to clutch up on the 4v2 situation without dropping anyone. And that's 2 rounds in a row now for Minnesota. Now they do not have to worry about that glide bomb. That's such a massive round to where they can now decide to attack this B bomb once again. They've been going on their last 2 offenses towards A, and it's looking like it's going to be another A push once again.
Minnesota's liked when they planted down this bomb nice and early. It's been difficult for Toronto to go on these fast retaking positions. Now they'll try it again. Havok, great work to shut down CleanX early. Get the man who has really been the defining story of these opening rounds out of the picture. So far, job done. Attach also able to find one onto Insight. Okay. 2v4, bomb down. Best of luck to Toronto. But just like that, they explode for 2. All onto Bance. Aware of Attach's positioning, cuts him down. Now a 1v1, 20 seconds to go. Standy versus Bance. Which way is this gonna go? Standy tagged up, reach out. Bance, oh, he locks it in. Bance comes through massively for the team. Walks away with 3. And what a round it is from Benjamin.
And that's a 4v2. That is a 4v2 round coming in from the Ultra. That is usually the swing round. When you're at a 4-2 situation in the S&D, that's a swing round where it either turns into 5-2 at game point or 4-3 where it can either go any way. But Toronto Ultra, Bance specifically, makes the plays from top plat. He finds that kill to at least even up the numbers when Cammy finds the first, makes it a 2v2. Cammy gets traded. He knows that attaches towards top 3. Attach right there. I would like to see him just play his life. You do not have to, not have to challenge that gunfight and give up your life for free, especially with that much time on the clock. Turns it into a 1v1, plays it patient, and eventually sniffs out Standy to clutch up the round. Now Ultra at game point.
Yeah, that's a great call, partner. I mean, it doesn't put Standy in a position where he has to challenge, has to, try to get up close and personal in that 1v1. Bance takes advantage, and just like that, what looked like an amazing comeback from Minnesota now sits at a 5-2 advantage toward the other side. As Bance, without a doubt, one of the players to look out for, as he's got that bomb on the back. Kills exchanged either direction, but it will be Minnesota early on with the advantage. Nade prepared and tossed on out. Good night to Insight. CleanX 1v3. What have you got, buddy?
CleanX in the 1v3. Priestahh is the player watching the flank. He's actually going to get bad timing there. So CleanX is going to find the first. Now in the 1v2 situation, the bomb is still going to be down towards B. You see Minnesota, they're playing super aggressive on it, ready for the trade whenever it's need be. There's 25 seconds left. He's just going to approach his way into fire. He just has to try to at least find one. He's just playing for information, but they're not giving him anything. This should be a Minnesota Røkkr round.
Yeah, it absolutely should. Standing attach. Two players who left in position to clutch last time around, given a much more favorable position. And they will be able to stand their ground this time. CleanX, like I said, he was going for all kinds of angles. I don't think he necessarily came into this bomb site with the highest of expectations, but yeah, runs right into the AR of attach, just like that. Minnesota down 5-3.
And that was just good work also from Standy to dodge that nade in towards B bomb, reposition himself, puts himself in that corner to at least make it a 3v2 situation. As Minnesota starting to show life, now down 5-3. The last 3 offensive round have been all out attack towards A, and it's once again going to do the same exact thing. You're going to have Attach who's calling out that cross. He does spot one player, at least 2. But it's going to be an all-out battle already here. CleanX is able to come out on top of 2. 14-5. He's going crazy right now.
He is indeed. They may have woken up the beast once more. They ran right into A and right into the jaws of CleanX. Attach and Priestahh with a massive round on their shoulders, potentially going down 2-0 in this series. Battle of the North, $10,000, a bounty game at that. The pressure felt, but again, we know especially the merit that a player like Attach has. Can he make the play to bring it to a 2v2? He will. Able to find Bance on the flank, evens the numbers, 35 seconds still to go.
But that bomb is still down. So now in a 2v2. They're both going to regroup towards top plat, but they do not spot this player in the corner. Insight in a great position. He's going to be able to find the first. He knows the positioning of Priestahh, not able to win it. So now in a 1v1 with 20 seconds left. CleanX versus Priestahh.
Priestahh gonna grab the bomb. CleanX does get that indicator. Tries to plant it, but again, it's CleanX. It is Tobias to go big for the roster. A game and a half from this man will lead Toronto to the promised land, up 2-0 in this series. Finishes off 15-5. Sheesh. Come on. 15-5.
The tissue was an issue on that, man. They could not guard him. 15-5 with the SMG. And keep in mind, he starts off the game like 10-0. He was on a 10 spree to start us off in this search and destroy. Minnesota simply started off too slow in this S&D. Could not shut him down. They allowed CleanX to just be the playmaker, run around, pick up 2 pieces, find the opening first bloods. The guy was a man on a mission. 13 non-traded kills. He almost puts up more kills than his entire team. Pretty sure he ties it up. That's insane. Good work from him.
He did, man. I mean, like you said, it's all about that 4-0 start for Toronto, right? Everything is going their way. I think they started off, a perfect 4-0 in first bloods as well. Yeah. Just across the board, a game plan granted for the Toronto boys. And, you know, we had the chance to like have a quick little interview with I think it was Cammy after their W versus Seattle last week, and he was just talking about how the scrimmages have been going better. Everybody just seems to be on the same sheet of music, especially in the respawns. And I'll tell you what, man, taking down this Minnesota team in Search Destroy on a map like that. What's the record?
Yeah.
They're 5-1. They're 5-1 on Berlin.
The bread and butter right there, man. I can't believe
it's been there. Well, now maybe it's been Minnesota's bread and butter. Now it's Toronto Ultra's beans and toast. Beans and toast for the Toronto Ultra now as they find themselves up 2-0. I'm having everybody tell me to go to commercial break because I am making a fool of myself. Folks, it is the Toronto boys up majorly now in this series. Is it going to be a 3-0 sweep, or will Minnesota rise from the ashes as they've done many times in the Battle of the North historically? Make sure to stay with us when we come back after the break. It is Tucking Control.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Zenni. Armor your eyes with Block's gaming glasses starting at $24 by visiting zenni.com/CDL. The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Game Fuel. Victory in a can. Upgrade your game with a Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
Welcome back, friends. It is Bounty Week, and we are one map away from Toronto Ultra being 10 G's richer. As we take a look at our Scump play of the game, it's a 1v2, a 2v4, a hat trick, everything and then some from Benjamin Bance. Jay, look at this.
A big, massive kill to start us off, but then right there, Attach is basically give up his life for free. So now in the 1v1, Bance tags up Standy back alley, and even though Standy comes back to commit on it, Bance has a little bit more help in his back pocket sitting at 64. He's able to come out on top in that gunfight. Just plays it so patient. When you think of Benjamin Bance, he's always the guy that's taking the route, playing it patient, trigger discipline. The guy's got it all in his bag of tricks, and he showed it right there in that clutch to now put his team up 2-0 in the series.
Man, they look, I mean, like a force. I mean, we talked about Insight in the opening bocage. It was all about CleanX throughout that search destroy. Obviously, Bance has had his moments, and now we're looking at what could be a 3-0 sweep after what was Minnesota, who have had back-to-back 3-0 sweeps. They've actually lost their very first 2 maps in all of the Major III qualifiers to kick this bad boy off. But now it's time for Tuscan control. If you're Røkkr, short-term memory, get that one out of here. Get that negative energy and throw it behind you, but throw it anywhere but in the comms right now, because they have got a difficult task on their hands. And so far, Jay, it has not been a great series for Havok.
Oh, it definitely has not been. When I was looking at Havok's stats before this match even started, when it based off of what he showed me at Pro-Am, it was a 0.88. When he started off stage 3, he was at a 1.17, at least in the 2 series that he plays. And so far, sitting at a 0.66, it's not really answering the call in this series. He needs to step up here on this map specifically, because I'm pretty sure the last time he did play this map was versus LAG. He puts up like a 1.88, and he also picked up the automaton and went on like a 7-8 spree. So he needs to turn it around right here for his team to get back into this one.
Yeah, he definitely does. Minnesota in a very precarious spot, and on the other side for Toronto, is they've got some uncontested time at this A zone, moments away from getting those first 2 ticks. Jay, a weird thing for Toronto, this is the first time since Major I qualifiers where they have been 2-0 up in a series. Oh, that is crazy to me. I mean, they have just not seen a whole lot of success, but when they do, they're locking things up nice and early. So we'll see if Toronto can make it 3 straight, or if Minnesota have got something prepared special here on Tuscan. So far at this A zone, it has been all ultra up to this point. It's Havok. Nice work early, still 3-0.
That's going to be ultra, at least securing that 8 point, but this allows Minnesota now to put the pressure on the map. 3 go down on the side of Toronto. This now allows Minnesota to play for this map control. You still have Havok causing problems towards top fire. Oh, he's going to get stunned by Cammy and eventually get taken down. So now all our pressure going to be on Standy to try to hold down P5, but Priestahh is going to be there to assist him. Attach is holding out on the middle of the map. Now they just have to focus on CleanX, because he somehow, some way makes his way through field, and now he's going to be that player from behind.
Have to be careful, have to be aware of his position. Standy locked into P5 all by himself. He was basically the spigot behind this push, and now Toronto got something brewing quite nicely. Attach able to find Insight, Bance gets wiped away, and CleanX will also. So a great 3 down instantly in favorable of the Minnesota side. However, Cammy's still firing, still staying alive. We'll try to keep this charge going for the roster. And as long as he stays alive, this could be a great moment for Toronto. Attach, meanwhile, on the other side, finds himself on a 5 spree. So really for Minnesota, it just becomes an annoyance in the back of the base, because everybody on the opposite side is handling business. Dylan Price now off to 6 in a row, a 7-2 beginning. And he's one away from that glide bomb. Put some shots into Insight and repositions. Smart play from the vet.
So much map control right now from Minnesota. It's forcing all of Toronto to hit that overextension through field side. Sets up Havok beautifully to take down 2. As Insight eventually finds that trade, finally puts a kill on the board as well. Their main focus has to be taking down Attach, and what a big gunfight coming in from CleanX. Slides into top radio and wins a huge 1-on-1 to relieve that glide bomb on the side of Minnesota. That puts a lot of pressure in towards top radio and Plat. That's going to be 2 dead. Minnesota have to try to get back on point now.
They've got to. Bance has got the flank. Is he going to catch the timing on a Standy? Well done from Bance. Now here comes the push. Røkkr, they've got to handle it. 18 seconds. So this is Toronto, without a doubt, in a very interesting spot. They lose this team fight, and they very well lose this round. Insight trying to pick up the pieces, but it will be Minnesota holding things down and locking up this opening control round. I don't think anybody's going to be in eyes distance of that B zone. Last 3 seconds come on through. CleanX falls, and that will be it. Bance got with the nade in Minnesota. A very, very solid round, despite what was a, I don't know, Toronto walking away with the A zone nice and early. Minnesota, though, they were not concerned at all about that, Jay. It was everybody else slaying.
Yeah, and you see Havok, he was starting to turn up right there in those player cams. You can just tell he's such a young player. Actually, not a young player anymore. He's been around the scene for quite some time, but you can just see the energy that he brings to this team. He's going to be the hype man. Him and Standy really just complemented each other right there in that round number 1 by just the amount of pressure that they were able to put on, the nuisances that they were being in the spawn of Toronto Ultra. They simply could not put a pin on where they were coming from. So now Minnesota on the attack, they're gonna put all out pressure on towards B. And this will work out in their favor if their player at A can stay alive, but he drops. Now they know the pressure's coming in towards B, and they're fully set up for it.
Yeah, they are indeed. However, attached Havok, able to find two. Bance nearly gets slid on. Thankfully finds the extra headshot there onto Havok. That indicator given away, obviously Minnesota's position that they are firmly at this B zone, but they are taking it to the Toronto side right now. 2 players still alive, thriving. Havok and attach hand in hand together. Havok falls all onto attach as his teammates will rotate toward that A zone. A solid attempt, but one does not earn a tick over a B.
Yeah, so now if you're Minnesota, they get that first tick of aggression towards A. Now that puts them down by 2, but if they can secure at least 1 tick of aggression towards B, they're already winning that offense, at least in my mind. Now with the minute left, you have Toronto Ultra basically giving up this A point. Their full-on focus is to make sure they do not allow any roamers to make their way on through. But that's going to be Havok sneaking his way into top. Radio, he's the only player on this side of the map. What else can, what other information can he give to his team? Is he's eventually going to hop on this B point. He should get sniffed out, and that's going to relieve the pressure. But now all-out pressure from Minnesota from the backside. Priestahh, the last one up.
Yeah, Priestahh, oh, the last one there. Insight able to take him down. 1 HP. And somehow survives that fight. It looked like a great little situation there for Røkkr, but Toronto able to wipe him away. CleanX now sitting on that B zone as Minnesota once more continues to cycle their way, Ferris wheel their way over toward the field and handling business right now as CleanX. A great double will halt that early push from the Røkkr. 1:20 to go. Lives basically even. It feels like each time Minnesota has been able to slip through their fingers, but it's been Toronto making the great plays to reel him on back. A nice shot there from Cammy. Now leads him on into P5. Minnesota looking for an opening, and Standy might have found it.
Standy might have found it, but he eventually does get taken down. But with him putting that pressure there, eventually sets up his teammate in Priestahh to take down Bance in towards P5. So now they can start flooding from the front to stop overextending, as Insight's going to be the player that's holding down this cut. He's on a force free, so you potentially want to play your life and try to work towards this glide bomb. As the attack is going to be here, he does win the first gunfight. The trade is going to be here. Cammy with the assistance. They do get on the point, but here comes Insight with the pistol to eliminate Priestahh. So now the last player up in a position to at least cause them some problems is going to be Havok. You cannot give this kill to Insight. He does. So now Insight, after starting off the game 0-6, has turned this game around, now on a 7-3 and picks up the glide.
Yeah, that's a great call, partner. A very slow first round, but picking things up is Mr. Winsight. No segments captured yet from Minnesota, and now it's going to be their target. Priestahh falls early, but still 3 more players on the attack. They line right up and they run right into the blender. A great setup there for Toronto. The only player near is going to be Standy. He could do something. He could make a play, but so much to do. Such a massive amount of fire just around his position. And with that, Toronto respond back exactly the way that you'd like. And on top of it, Jake, now they've got a glide bomb to work with.
Yeah, I feel like Minnesota and Toronto, they just played the same exact defense back-to-back rounds. Like Minnesota, first round, they were able to just push out P5, force all of Ultra to completely overextend every single time they came off of that spawn. And then the same thing, Ultra that had 2 to 3 people every single time at that P5 area. They eliminated the pressure from the back. Once they did that, they just kept on putting that pressure on from the front, because once you lose that front side, that's going to be easy for Minnesota to just flood on through. They were able to secure that and pick up the glide bomb. So I think Toronto are at least right now in the lead for me.
I like to hear that, Jay. Minnesota, another whack at the attacking end as they will look toward A, kick this one off. And so far, very uncontested. The stack nice and early, and that's really going to be one of our first kills of the entirety of the round. First blood over to CleanX. How often do you hear that in a control round? But Minnesota going to give that one up for free and challenge late. And I guess based off that push, it doesn't work out all the way they would have liked. Havok trying to make the route man plays as Priestahh trying to catch a primary position. A very contentious angle out of the Toronto Ultra side. Havok gets found out, and there we have it. Toronto already cycling their way into the B zone.
Big kill from Methodz to take down CleanX. And they do spot the position of Insight. So you have number 4 in the back, which is going to be Priestahh. Such a big gunfight because he's trying to set up his teammates to attack this from the front. As Attach wins the first, CleanX does find a second. CleanX finds 2. So now the trade should come in from the backside, but Insight's actually going to cut through TJHaly. He's just going to hop right on that point.
He's going to hop on at the point. Priestahh knows exactly the corner that he's hiding in. And thankfully, I thought that his teammate actually found a kill for him. No, not at all the case. Priestahh's having to do this all himself. Thankfully, has a few buddies off the spawn. And speaking of spawn, that's exactly where Bance is there to pounce on him. So Toronto, a few players in primary positions. I thought Insight was a little bit farther past P5. So with that, Minnesota do catch the good timing. So one player wiped away on the flank, and now the awareness of everybody being in P5, flank after flank. Now it could be Standy's turn. It's got a few of these Toronto players left in motion. There to knock them down and back to the drawing board, really, if you're the Ultra side.
And right there, Ultra, they were just trying to set up a play. Like, find that opening kill so that you can get the Insight glide bomb to get invested and potentially at least pick up one tick of aggression towards this B point. But just so much pressure coming in from the SMGs. 20 and 14 out of Havok, 14 and 14 out of Standy. These guys got to turn around every single time they come off spawn. But finally, they're able to relieve that pressure from Standy. Now it's the time to attack from P5. And it's the perfect case scenario to call in this glide bomb. Gonna take this player down towards the back. Actually gets a hit marker. Doesn't even pick up a kill, but Bance came in at least able to find 2. Priestahh relieves that pressure, finding 2 of his own.
Yeah, man, that glide bomb feels like early fan. Oh, Insight. Okay, the nice little slide there on to Standy. Who needs a glide bomb when you've got a shot like that? Some great work right now from him. Stunned over at L, eventually picked off. Haly falls through the middle, and just like that, the glide bomb invested, but it will not be a solid return in this round as Minnesota look to lock things up here in round number 3. Take the 2-1 advantage. Okay, CleanX is just soaring into P5. Havok looks like he was shooting a few birds out of the sky. Some good work from him. 2-1, like we said, for Røkkr.
Minnesota, they played that beautifully. The fact that no one dropped to that glide bomb, that's got to be devastating on the side of Insight, because he puts it like right between 2 players. There was one player who really didn't pop up on the radar, but there was both of those players standing right next to that truck. He thought if he puts it on the truck, it'll blow both of them up. Unfortunately, gets a hit mark on both of those players, doesn't find the kill, and then eventually Minnesota come right on in, get every single kill, relieve that pressure, and secure map control to close out that round. So now Minnesota are down by 3 ticks. And they got the glide bomb to get invested. So this is huge for Minnesota, because even if they tie, I'm pretty sure if you outslay them, comes down to kills after the ticks are tied up.
Oh, take a look at this rush. Take a look at this aggressive play from Minnesota. They make their way in through middle. They instantly hop into this B zone. Standy with a nice little angle. Oh, what a play! Oh, it finds 3. Eli with the snapper. 6 in a row. And everybody's going to be writing down that for ranked later. Thank you very much, Standy. Eventually found out no glide bomb for him. But, Jay, I think off that spot alone, he deserves a streak.
100%, man. And they also get that tick of aggression towards B. So now Minnesota, if they just capture A, they secured that defense for that round number 5. What a play coming in from Standy to secure that first tick of aggression. Now allows his teammates to set up properly around A. Unless CleanX has something to say about it. But no, that's going to be Havok coming out on top. He does get traded. All out pressure. Now this is going to force Ultra to not give this one up so easy.
It was started off as a great little moment there for Minnesota. Thanks to the clever plays, trying to make their way in B. Standy with a nice little spot. Now let's put them in one of the more difficult positions on attack here on Tuscan. You don't get that A capture. You don't get that map control nice and early. And now you've got a few Toronto players hiding out over toward your side view. Standy there to handle business. But again, it's insight. The stable AR, the solid force toward the back lines, doing some great damage. And now will do it all himself. He was waiting for CleanX there for the pinch, but he's able to handle it. And just like that, it is the quick spawns over at roofs that will now push Minnesota over at this B zone. And now it's Havok's turn to use the spot.
Havok jumps on the window.
Oh.
Unfortunately loses the gunfight to CleanX. The second Sigma aggression is going to be so big if they can pick this up. Priestahh has to try to go big and wins a one-on-one to secure that second point towards B. So now Minnesota, they basically are going to lock up that defense, but they're not even trying to get there as Priestahh is turning it up on a 4 spree, 25 and 20. They secure that B point. They already have pressure towards A. That's going to be another 2 down. Bance, the only player in a position, also behind Cammy. He gets taken down, 3 dead in the feed. Second tick is in, and Minnesota are trying to close it out here.
Minnesota feeling momentum, trying to scream their way back. As back and forth we go, attach eventually falls, and there you have it. Toronto will stabilize for the time, but my word, Minnesota have woken up in this series. You can just feel it right now, regardless if we head to that round 5. As you said, buddy, they have got that defense locked up, but they are eyeing up this round in particular. Both Havok and Standy trying to go on the flank. A quick trade to Standy will lock things up, wipe them down, and Minnesota comes screaming back into this series. A 3-1 victory on Tuscan.
That's just great work from Minnesota. I simply think it all comes down to this play from Standy. Like, when they start off by getting that first tick of aggression towards that B point, then that allows them to eventually attack A. Now it forces Toronto Ultra to not give up A as easily, because they were giving it up every single time on defense. They were forcing them to just play towards B. And if you have to get at least one segment done, that's all Minnesota needed to get done there to close out that round. But they did a great job. Starts off with Standy with his 3-piece. They secure that first tick. Then they work it over towards A, work a little progression there. But then they transition over towards B once again towards the middle of that round, and it was on Havok. Havok finds a 2-piece from top radio. Once he finds that 2-piece, he allows his teammates to set up properly. They close out that B point behind the back of Priestahh, who went absolutely off on a 4-5 spree to close out that B point. And I feel like Minnesota, they just wanted it more on this map by just the way that they were playing. The SMGs were putting so much pressure on, being nuisances on the map. Toronto Ultra simply did not have an answer for them. Now Minnesota stay alive in this series a little longer. The only thing is, now they're going into a Tuscan hardpoint where they have yet to find a win all season.
That's the only negative partner that we're talking about, right? It's like, okay, cool, Minnesota, you locked up this one, but still, you've got to take a Tuscan hardpoint. That's something that's going to have to break. But as you said, I mean, it feels like in that round number 4, I'm sure we'll be able to see it in the highlights. But Standy, that clever little angle toward the top that nets him that 2-piece. I mean, it basically gave Minnesota off spawn, right? When they get that close roof spawn, it gives them purpose. It gives them purpose knowing that they've got that first tick on lock. Standy makes the play. And like I said, well, he doesn't earn the glide bomb. It absolutely broke open this round, gave Minnesota that B capture that eventually led them back over here toward A very well contested effort. But as you said, man, it just felt like Minnesota, they wanted it more. They felt the pressure. And well, again, it is the young players. It's the new addition, Standy, specifically Havok, that new SMG duo leveling up their game.
It's massive work for them, especially for Havok, because throughout this series he's put up like a 0.66, but then on that map he goes massive and almost puts up 30 kills to secure that map win for his team. So now that can put a little momentum in his favor going into this Tuscan hardpoint. And just basically the same way that they just played on that control is the same way I need to see them play on this hardpoint, especially the SMGs. Like Standy and Havok, they were all over the map. They were just causing so many problems for Toronto Ultra, breaking their setups whenever they needed to, popping a 2-piece whenever they need to. You need them to have that same exact pressure here, because since they haven't found any success, it can't get any worse than there.
That's exactly right, my man. And it's actually something interesting that you bring up, right? It is the idea of Havok and Standy working in tandem together. And, you know, after one of the victories that the Minnesota Røkkr had, I think it was in the 3-0 win versus LA Thieves, the desk had a chance to chat with Attach, and they were like, okay, what's been the difference? Like, you guys, you know, going to Pro-Am, not a great performance. Then you come into our first week of the Major III Qualifiers. You guys go 6-0 in maps, 2-0 in series. And he's like, well, the big thing was just the fact that we got our 2 SMGs on board together. It felt uncomfortable at the Pro-Am. And obviously at the Major III Qualifiers, these guys just feel like they're meshing properly. And so often, Jay, it feels like the key to success in Vanguard, in Call of Duty, at least in the modern era, is when your SMGs are on fire, it feels like the rest of the team follows along.
Especially with the way that they just played that last map. You saw what it was like in that map number 1. Even though it was really close, still a struggle for Standy and Havok. Map number 2, they allowed CleanX to just run around, be the SMG playmaker, pop a 2-piece whenever he wanted. He puts up 15 kills on that map. No one had an answer for him. But now is when they stopped that call. They were able to respond in this control. Now going into this hard point, just based on the momentum that they get there. When you think about Minnesota, you can never count them out of any series. So this Tuscan hard point is going to be a battle.
Yeah, unfortunately for Toronto fans, you know that quite well. Minnesota are always there to fight. I'm not necessarily going to bring it up. The Battle of the North, man, has got some very, very deep roots. When we talk about the CDL, not just to mention that, folks, but in this iteration of the Battle of the North, it is also Bounty Week, an extra $10,000 up for grabs in this series alone. Somebody's making some good old profit, Jay. Very well. Could be Toronto if they're able to lock this one up. But as we said, Minnesota, they've got to do something that they have yet to do this season, and that is to take a Tuscan HP. And Jay, for you, where does it start? Where does that W come from here?
Yeah, so for Minnesota, one thing that they struggle with on this map is P1 and P2. They're only averaging about 15 points on both of those, but they're allowing the other team to get 30 points, and that's massive. You cannot allow that to happen on this map, or you will lose it. And then for Toronto, they struggle with P3 and P5. And the reason why is because they're not winning their rotation gunfights towards those hard points. So if Toronto can win their rotations, they will be able to close out this map. If Minnesota, they were able to get a good chunk of time off of P1 and P2, they will be able to walk away with this map and force that game 5.
Well played, partner, and well called. Well elaborated. Did a great job on your birthday as well. How about that, man? It's working on his birthday. Great work, man, from good old Jeremy Stud himself. But here we are into P1 as we are flying and frying nice and early here on our opening HP. CleanX, well, now's his chance. Somewhat slow in terms of the engagements off the rip, as we saw some quick flanks off the rip from Minnesota that have now netted their aggression into spawns for P2. Now over at column, CleanX, well, I think he ran just right past Standy, who was using that same position, and I don't believe either of them spotted each other. No, Standy not able to spot CleanX, who's able to help combine for 2. And just like that, Minnesota falling apart. Toronto, they catch the great angle. The SMG leads the way, and now they've got the seconds.
Yeah, Minnesota need to get in. They have to spawn towards the backside. They're able to find 3 kills. Last player up is going to be CleanX, so that's going to be a clean 4 dead. Now all the spawns for the Ultra Boys coming in towards the middle of the map and towards P5. So this is the way that Minnesota can get right back into this game. 30 seconds remaining. You already see Havok taking big picture. 8-2 to start this game, and he's going to be the player early off the rotation. He's forcing his teammates to pick up this remaining 20 seconds. But Toronto and Insight are not giving this up easy, but Havok going massive. The second half of this series, he's so far been taking over on a 4 spree, playing the cutoff, wins another gunfight off the rotation, and that's going to set up Minnesota properly for this P3.
Oh, and you just saw the spread of the spawns across the map. Some great work, as you said, buddy. Out of Havok, 2 more away from the glide bomb, and well, that double could be coming nice and early. A few players trying to make their way through P5, and Standy trying to help secure. Is that some G compadre for a glide bomb in the future? Minnesota holding things down. One away from the glide. Havok drops off of that, but his work has now set up Røkkr in a spot that they can be happy with. But how about the break? The snap of a finger. Toronto Ultra off the nade and off the headshot. Take control in a moment's notice.
They take control and they flip the spawns. Now with 30 seconds left, Ultra have the opportunity to blow this lead wide open. They're still picking up time. 68-38, currently up by 30. Pressure from Minnesota still coming from the middle alley, but that's going to be Toronto coming out on top in the gunfights. That was a beautiful break for them to close out that P3. Now puts them up by 40 points. This is going to force now Minnesota to get properly set up for this P4. CleanX, the player that's been sneaking through, finds that first kill. Can he find the second towards top ladder? He does not. So now this is where Minnesota need to respond. Down by 40, they need a good hold.
Kimmy trying to be the route man right now for Toronto's got that nade, tosses it out. Priestahh able to avoid it. Meanwhile, it's attached, doing the work from the front. It's Priestahh in the back lines. The first wave cleared for Røkkr as they need to get some seconds on the board, especially with how that P3 went. They need some time. They need some confidence over inside of church. But tell you what, man, CleanX is ready. He's prepared. Inside, taking down Standy, and even with the fists. So Minnesota somewhat cleared out, and just like that, a few of those extra kills come in. Toronto, once more, bullying the side of Røkkr. Despite not holding the rotations early, they have got the control again. Gonna reach that century mark as Bance tries to wipe away one lane himself. Toronto up big as we head into P5 now.
Now we're going into P5. This is a hill where Toronto struggle heavily on, because if they do not win that rotation gunfight, they only win a rotation towards the P5 about 20% of the time. But I'm pretty sure their break percentage on this is about 30%. So this is a struggle for them. You cannot allow Minnesota to set up properly as they find 3 kills in the feed. They were able to flip those spawns as well, now forcing all of Ultra to spawn out towards top fire, as Havok is going to be here already 20-8. He is a man on a mission. He just needs Standy, his SMG duo, to step it up, and this should be a game.
Man. He does. He's picking up everybody from the flank. The only problem is that Toronto's been so strong whenever they've been grouped up together. And it's funny, we were looking at the stats, and the only hard point, obviously Minnesota's record is not great at all, Jay, obviously on Tuscan here, 0-6. Their only positive hard point, I think, is P5. Like, the only hard point where they see success on is the one that we just saw them win on here and there, but I guess living up to the Tuscan hype, if you will, still bringing this game somewhat closer. Nice little hold there for Minnesota, as we said, characteristic over at the command center, but the rotation back on in. Toronto in a major spot, second side P1s. You got to look out for them, and maybe it's Havok to continue to go off. That could open things up.
But I'm pretty sure with Havok pushing up the middle alley right there, he was able to flip those spawns for his team. So now this is allowing them to get some time off that P1. First go around, they allowed Ultra to get about 35 seconds here, but Minnesota, they were to break on in. Now with 40 seconds left, they can take this lead and eventually grow it if they can set up properly. But look at the pinch coming in. You have CleanX going all the way on the long route. The spawns are actually going to flip as well. So if Toronto Ultra can properly win these gunfights with Cammy staying alive on this side of the map, it's a big play coming in, as the break is going to be there. They're able to break on him with 15 seconds left and now have that rotation towards that P2. Beautiful plays coming in from the Ultra, even if they have to give up this 15 seconds of P1.
Yeah, that's just a future-like play, a chess-like play, if you will, thinking a few moves ahead. Great work from Cammy, and now it really is going to be inside. He's got all 4 players making their way in toward arches, one dealt with, and you definitely know he's not expecting everybody in the lobby to be on his heels. And just like that, Minnesota get the close squad spawns. So because of what was a very risky push, it does work out for them. The question remains, who's going to win this team fight? Minnesota, trade after trade. Cammy walks away with 2, and we'll see if that investment is worth it. 30 seconds to go over a pillar.
Yeah, Minnesota, they need to break in, because you saw the way that Ultra were able to hold down that P3 the last go around. These are massive gunfights from both of these squads. Havok trying to do everything he can to take their player down. Does it with the pistol as well. On a 3 spree, 29-11. Like, what can't this guy do? He is frying right now, having a dazzling performance so far in this Tuscan hardpoint. Now you start thinking about that rotation. Already up by 15 points. Massive gunfights going in towards this P5 area. He does have his teammate in Priestahh ready to assist him. That's going to be 2 dead in the feed. Havok on a 4 spree, at least able to get out with his life for now. Should allow Ultra to set up properly off this P3. And look how much time, look how much map control that they currently have. It's going to be like another 5-10 seconds before Minnesota are even close to that point.
Oh, and Havok with this play, he's going to catch Cammy. He's going to catch Cammy, possibly. No! Oh! Cammy wins it, and just like that, 3 will fall. Priestahh, the sole man alive in the objective, is going to get halted. Toronto will hold off the streak, will hold off the nice plays from Havok. Halted in P5, and now Cammy has awoken. Another lead change about to be in store, as a big 20 still left over at Fountain, as the Ultra will come out on top again at this HP. Spawns now going to be looked at for next, and toward the backside of church we go. Minnesota here, last time around though, they had the spawns. Toronto broke on in, and a large part of that was because of CleanX. He gets dealt with, and back and forth we go. Cammy continuing to be a problem across Tuscan.
And that's a 2v4 off the rotation. Cammy and CleanX go massive and find 3 kills to now set them up properly for this P4 hardpoint. All you have to do is hold down the cuts. Bance finds 2, Insight finds the 3rd. Last player up is going to be Havok. Swans are still coming in for Minnesota towards that backside, but Toronto Ultra finally breached that 200-point mark. Cammy, a man on a mission with the SMG in his hand. Now it's Bance's turn. Bance finds 2, and the spawns do flip. 30 seconds remaining on P4.
Spawns flip for the moment. However, the nades are tossed in. Standy, Havok, everybody aware of how important this HP is. They cannot afford for the time to go the other direction. Standy, nice and solid over toward the top side of church as he eventually does get found out. Final 10 seconds, gonna go the way of Toronto as Havok has to back on up, recognizing the importance of this hard point. As we said, statistically, a team that has struggled so mightily on Tuscan, P5 has been their only saving grace. It was so in the first set of rotations, and can it be here and now?
Now, when you're up by 60, this allows Ultra to potentially set up a long pinch. Huge trade kit coming in from CleanX to at least win that first gunfight. But now the pressure's coming in from top fire. All of Toronto spawning on this side of the map. Standy going to be the first line of defense. He gets taken down, but Havok and Attach combined for 2. Like you said, this is their money hill, and so far they have held this flawlessly. Slowly but surely climbing back into this game. As Havok trying to do everything he can from the step area. On a 3 spree, gonna push on out. He finds another. Now you have to challenge the player on low. Even with the auto, he's delusionally challenging. He eventually gets taken down. So Toronto Ultra, they're gonna break on in. Trades going back and forth. But Minnesota still doing a great job of just holding and collecting this time.
Oh my gosh, man. This is a brawl. This is a brawl and a half. By the way, take a look at the top side of the map. I think it was Havok who just ran in to Cammy. They were back to back. He wins that fight, and now take a look at what this does for Minnesota. Prepared off the rotation, they got back in this game once again at P5, and now have they won the rotation? Have they stolen again? Toronto making their way from the front as Havok has to back on down. 40 and 19 as he falls. The big Slayer, the Slugger, wiped off the map as Toronto take control. Moments away from what could be a series victory. Minnesota firing on through. Attached with 1, Priestahh with 2, Standy with 3. Minnesota still alive as Havok's trying to make the route plays.
You're Minnesota. Your main focus is trying to push these spawns, putting a lot of pressure towards this left side and towards bottom church because they cannot win here. But if Priestahh can pick up the slide bomb, unfortunately, he does get taken down. Massive kill coming in from Insight. 10 seconds left on P1. This is going to force Toronto off the rotation. Who's going to be the player to try to make a play? It's going to be Havok. Already 40 and 20. Tries to sneak his way on. Wins the first gunfight. There's going to be a lot of pressure here, though. As Standy's going to help him from top radio. That's going to be 3 players from Minnesota in a position. Make it all 4. Minnesota are in control, and they're going to be able to force the game 5.
Minnesota, they've done it. They won a Tuscan hardpoint. Hug it out, boys. You deserve it. You bought yourself a ticket to a game 5 in this series, and largely in part to Havok. Wow. A 40 bomb and a clutch play, Jay, at the end. Toronto, they decided, hey, okay, cool. They can't win it off of P1. Let's go for the rotation. And off of that, it's up to 1 player to find the lane, catch a corner. Havok does it. Not only was he on the route all the time, on the flank constantly, but he finds the 1 lane that catches Minnesota and gives them a game 4 victory. What a battle this was, but this all comes down to Havok, Jay. 4,200 damage, 41 and 21, 31 non-traded kills.
Unreal.
What a game.
Unreal performance. Keep in mind, first half of the series, Havok was at a 0.66. I promise you, after these last 2 maps, he's probably sitting at like a 1.3, 1.4. He's having himself one hell of a series, man. Now he's forces to that game 5. And if you would have told me going into this Tuscan hardpoint, we have Minnesota, who are sitting at 0-6. Their only money hill is P5 out of all the hills. P5, which is a complete nade fest. They were able to hold it down flawlessly both times for them to get right back into this game. That forces now them to go to a desert siege where they are undefeated on. Best case scenario now for Minnesota. This series has been insane.
Yeah, that's what Ali was talking about. Like when it came down to the vetoes, it was like, okay, this is a very mixed bag. Like you got some great maps for one side, and this is the absolute turn of events. If you're Minnesota, you got your worst hard point lined up against one of your best search and destroys in game 4 and game 5. And of course, it is based off of P5. The command center is, I guess, the hill to hold if you are the Røkkr. Well, folks, they have got it done. They have brought themselves back into this series, but will it be the reverse sweep, or will Toronto finally wake up after what feels like a nightmare in these past 2 games? $10,000 on the line, as we will be back in just a moment with Desert Siege Search and Destroy.
AimLab, official first-person training partner of the Call of Duty League. Unleash your potential. The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Mountain Dew. The Call of Duty League is brought to you by TeamSpeak, the official broadcast communication partner of the Call of Duty League.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Bounty Week, $10,000 on the line in what will be a very, very interesting Game 5 between the Minnesota Røkkr and the Toronto Ultra. The Kings of the Cold now look toward a warmer climate to try and settle their disputes. And so far, you can see what the difference happened, Jay? A 0.66 for Havok in the first 2 maps, and he basically got up a full 1 KD from maps 1 to 2 and our last ones. That is wild.
Mama, there goes that man. Oh my God, he's like 2 players out there on the map right now, and they're definitely gonna need him going into this last map because this is a good map for both of these squads. Minnesota on this map specifically are sitting at 3-0. For Toronto, they're sitting at 5-3. For Toronto, the way that they find a success on their offenses is basically it's slowly attacking towards A. 85% win rate for them.
Okay.
And for Minnesota, it's just neutral. It's just basically spread a map, but you see the action already starting. CleanX find that first blood. Priestahh immediately with the trade. Insight takes down Attach, so now in a 3v2 situation.
Oh, I love you, Jay. You're just trying to get through that little comment as fast as you can because this is a very, very fast round. Insight, more specifically, CleanX off the rip. Some great damage done. Normally on Siege, Jay, we're talking about, okay, you know, slower pace round. It almost feels like Miami from last year at times, where it's just like, okay, the first 30 seconds, nobody's got our first blood. Let's see how this works. No, not at all the case. Toronto put pedal to the metal in round 1, trying to wipe away, as we said, those last 2 map losses.
It's a massive first round for the Ultra. They are 50% on the defensive side on this map, 55% on their offense. But if they could start taking defenses from Minnesota, that's going to be massive because Minnesota on the defensive end are 80%. And you already see all our pressure towards A. As the bomb is going to work up. They were able to spot Standy. Standy's going to be one shot. And they take him down. Already have the man advantage. Bomb's getting planted.
Cammy, great work from him and CleanX. Oh, excellent work toward bottom Paulehx. Does he escape with his life? You bet he does. Minnesota left between a rock and a hard place. Havok felt like whack-a-mole. Bance decides to dip on down, and just like that, it is Priestahh left into a 1v4. A bag of tricks so far to kick off us some Siege. And boys, this is going to be a difficult task. Okay, somehow finds the first one. Tags up Cammy quite nicely. Some solid shots from Priestahh, but in the end, the man count will work out. Toronto 2-0.
Good work from the Ultra to put that early pressure on towards A. They know that Minnesota likes to basically play their defenses, just basically spread the map out, play for your information, but they slowly attack towards A. They find that first blood onto Standy. Once they do that, all they have to do is set up on a player to watch the flank, put a little pressure towards the middle of the map, and they were able to find a couple players as well. So that's going to be 2 rounds already for the Ultra. Minnesota, at least based off of that game number 2, they started really slow in search and destroy. They cannot allow that to happen here.
Yeah, that's without question. What was it, 4-0 start for Toronto?
Yeah.
Was it CleanX started off like 10-1?
Yeah.
Wild stuff out of Ultra in that last search and destroy. Cammy looks to reposition with the sniper. We've seen really a number of different players snipe for Toronto on Siege. More specifically, it's been Insight.
Oof.
Well, it's actually the Røkkr along with somebody else on Siege for the most snipes. Right now, it's Cammy with the big boy in his back pocket. However, Standy able to shut down CleanX off the rip. The first blood finally for Minnesota goes down. And on their attack, which could be good signs of things to come, as Havok now on the route. Cammy trying to make a play of his own as he gets dropped. Insight 1v3.
Insight left in a 1v3. Bomb is going to get planted towards A. He's going to work his way towards back trains. Going to be able to at least spot one player in Priestahh. As they're just ready for this. They are not going to give up this gunfight easy. As Insight's just going to try to commit towards it. Still on a 3 spree. Trying to do it with the pistol as well. You're not going to win that, Insight. I'm telling you now. That was not going to be easy. We might just want to jump off the map. Nope. All right, we're going to play our life here. He's on a 3 spree, so he could potentially pick up a guide bomb, but this is going to be a Minnesota Røkkr round. Insight not even going to try to close this one out.
Yeah, I don't know why Jay's like making it seem as if he wants to jump off the map. It's like, hey, man, you're on a 3 spree. It's not as if like you got 1 kill. You got a little bit of something brewing. But Insight will look to hold on out, stay alive in the wreckage after what has been a great response from Minnesota. As we said, the last time around, it was a collapse off the break of Berlin. This time around, Minnesota is able to answer that much earlier. As you see the rest of the squad working out some communication, firing out some comms, trying to focus up, Jay. 10K on the line.
And profit.
Massive
indeed. Profit for either one of these squads. But right there, I think it comes down to Standy finding that first blood onto CleanX. Once they find that first blood, you see Cammy slowly starts to approach that train side. But then Minnesota, they wrap back, take care of him, and then also catch a player towards the middle of the map, make it a 1v4. Not going to be easy for Insight. So Now Minnesota get on the board. Havok finds his first blood this round, but CleanX immediately answers him, turns it into a 3v3.
How about the angles that we're seeing right now here on Siege? Insight's doing it. Havok's doing it. We saw Standy teach us some things out of the Book of Eli. Maybe Havok's going for a read over for those bookcases. Bomb looks to go down. Minnesota now. Time for the retake. Attached in a great position, but once more it's Havok being the difference maker. Finds one in bottom palace.
So now there's two players approaching through that field. Side through lower trenches, working towards the late flank. It's on Cammy to just basically stay alive. You don't want to give up your life for free. At least allow your teammate to get into play. But Havok takes down Cammy. Priestahh works his way all the way around the late flank. And that's a beautiful round from Minnesota. In the 3v3 situation, Havok immediately turns to that window, forces it to a 3v2. And then they take their long routes, knowing that Cammy potentially has a sniper to work with. You find that kill. You solo out the player towards low trains. Minnesota, 2 rounds in a row, now tied up at 2 apiece.
Yeah, man, that is a picture perfect retake. Great job done from this Minnesota side. And as we said, it has been their mode throughout this year. One that they have relied upon so many times prior, really for both of these organizations, these franchises throughout Cold War and Vanguard. S&D is their strong suit. As we said, they're bread and butter and they're beans and toast, depending on what part of the world that you come from. Havok quickly destroying that wood wall toward the bottom as he and CleanX, it just feels like you're going to get involved in a fight many more times throughout this game 5. Nobody yet to drop as nades tossed, utility tossed throughout Siege.
Yeah, right here, Bance is in a great position to at least give some kind of information to his team. But he's not spawning any of these players that already pushed out towards bottom palace. Havok once again finds that first blood and gets out with his life. So now on a 4 spree, Cammy's gonna be in a great position to at least even up the numbers, and he also gets bombed down. Such a massive kill coming in from him. Now it sets up Priestahh though on the trade, turns it into a 3v2. Don't want to get caught with the bomb in your hand. Looking like this bomb is gonna actually get rotated towards B. It's gonna catch him completely off guard.
Oh my gosh, Bance. I was gonna say, it may have got the worst timing, but in fact, it actually could work out quite nicely for him.
Yes, it can.
It could work out great. Attaches behind him, catches out Priestahh, and also escapes with his life. Attached gets shot, taken down. Havok now left in the 1 versus 2, and he has gone hunting. Spots Bance from afar, and now Insight can just play the time. He can play the time, but Havok will be there for the plant. He'll be able to get it down. Insight ready, and Havok greets him with a few bullets. 43 HP, and Jamie Craven has never clinched harder. My goodness, that was terrifying.
I know, he had an SMG in his hand as well. That was the 40. He was able to get him down to 43. Insight said, no, I was gonna go for the shot, but I'm not gonna give you this kill and lose this round for my team. Insane stuff from the Ultra to clutch up on that round, but now their main focus has to be taking down Havok. He's on a 5 spree and can potentially pick up a glide bomb, as they're going to be in the defense. Ultra slowly attacking towards B. I mean, slowly attacking towards A, but that's going to be Havok once again finding that first blood. 3 first bloods in a row go to Havok. Now he's on a 6 spree, 1 off that glide.
And he has handled business versus both Bance and CleanX in a lot of situations in back-to-back rounds. He's taken down at least one of them to kick off our first blood engagement. So well done from Havok. As you said, still in hunt for that glide bomb, but sniper battle is imminent. Attach. And now Insight, I believe, has that sniper out.
Oh, this works out. This is going to allow Cammy to get pushed up, but he's actually going to get spotted and Standy off the rotation, able to take him down. So now in a 4v2 situation, all the stuff the CleanX ends Insight, not going to be an easy task to get done.
By no means. We've seen some 2v4s happen, though, on Berlin. By no means easy on Siege. Priestahh, oh my goodness, just a perfect shot there on the CleanX. And Havok, they're going to feed him. They're going to feed him. Havok's hungry for something greasy. And there you have it. He's got the glide bomb and will hold it throughout the remainder of Desert Siege. What a play, and how big that is for Minnesota moving forward, Jay.
Dude, this guy is taking over, man. From maps 3 to now, he has just been taking over this series. He's putting his stamp on this series right now. as he earns that glide bomb on a 7 spree. Now this changes the way that Toronto Ultra are going to play this defensive round completely. Now if you're Ultra, you probably have to stack in towards bottom palace. You have to be super aggressive in towards bottom middle. You cannot play passive aggressive here.
Havok gonna go for the same angle. CleanX has been on the negative end of these engagements so many times. He's got that nade, tosses it off the box. I believe that was intended. I don't know. It seemed like it was maybe supposed to happen. I have no idea, Jay. It feels like some certain things break, some things don't. Take a look at how close. Feels like half the lobby is, and Havok will look to invest the streak now. Ready to call it in, takes down Insight, but at the same time, Cammy wipes away Standy, 3 versus 3.
But Havok's able to spot Bance. Bance able to get out with his life. This is gonna allow CleanX to now pounce on him. He at least evens up the numbers, makes it a 2v2. With the bomb down, being down over towards that A site. You see Minnesota just gonna work their way back. 30 seconds left to work with. Bance and Cammy. Just trying to play close enough to the bomb to at least play a trade. Now it's going to be Bance off the rotation. They know that the pressure has to be towards A. It's going to be a battle right here.
It's going to be a battle, but the pinch is in. Toronto know that that bomb is picked up, and from there, like hyenas, ready to take him down in a moment's notice. Just well played. Like I said, in that 2v2 for Ultra. Aware when that bomb gets grabbed, but like I said, it feels like for a moment things start to stall out, and really I don't know about you, Jay, but it just feels like as long as CleanX is alive in bottom palace, the chances for Toronto to take rounds away is that much greater. I know he has a weird nade off the rip, but the fact that he's able to stay alive, get involved in those early engagements, and just keep Toronto even in the numbers puts them in a good spot, as they'll now be back on the attacking end.
Oof. Fortunately, Inside not able to line up that shot. But he does spot the positioning of at least one player. And the biggest thing now for Ultra is that they got that glide bomb to get invested. Such a huge round win for them to close out that last round. Even without switching their perks. Like, no one had cold-blooded on, but they were still able to walk away with that round. So this is a massive, massive round for Minnesota to try to clutch up. Like I said, 80% on their defenses. They cannot allow Ultra to slowly work towards A, because that's where they find their most success.
CleanX, eyes on him. However, Bance does get dropped. Much more pressure now put on the CleanX's shoulders. Havok toward the top side of SMG's paradise, really. But could it come down to bite him? The timing.
Oh my.
Toronto have some of it, but CleanX does get found out. Havok nearly finds a second. Cammy able to handle business. 2 versus 3, 18 seconds, and a big job to do. Bomb's going to get grabbed. Rotation not going to be in as they look to put this one down firmly. Toronto confident they can get it done. The snipe fires out, but nobody drops. Insight does make his way to a safe location as Standy tries to pick him. Cammy gets dropped, and now it's all on to Insight, but he's repositioned. He's repositioned, Jay. Can he find him on the defuse? Attaches here. Attach. Punches in the digits, and regardless of where Insight was, Minnesota will lock it in and stay alive in a round that was so crucial for them.
That's just very unfortunate for Insight, because if once he hits that snipe on the Priestahh, he gets a hit marker. So like he could have potentially turned it into a 2v2, and I'm pretty sure later on throughout that round, Priestahh actually finds that kill onto Cammy to force it into a 3v1. Unfortunate for Insight to get that hit marker. Now puts us at 4-4. Such a back and forth game between both of these teams. It's Minnesota. They're going to completely change the tone. Look at Havok. Pushes right through the Speed's bomb. It's looking like Havok is on the defensive side.
What? Look at this.
Oh my.
Look at this. Havok and Bance are right next to each other, and you mean to tell me they're not going to see it? Okay. Havok takes him down. Backs away. What a crazy round this has started off to be, and for Minnesota, it could not be much better. The crazy timing granted for Havok. They also take away CleanX, 20 seconds, and Toronto have got to get going.
Wait a minute.
And they will. A quick 2, a 2v4, now to a 2v2, 15 seconds. Here comes Standy. He drops Priestahh, brings it to a 1v1, and he knows that Insight fired out a bullet. This is not going to be around for Insight to clutch. Not enough time for the defuse, and Minnesota, what a round it was, but they now take the lead.
Starts off with Havok, man, putting that pressure through B-bomb. And like I said, it literally looked like he was on defense with the position he was able to get in the first 15 seconds. Insane stuff from him to find that first blood. Eventually, they find the second. But then once it turns into a 4v2, Cammy and Insight, they do a great job of turning into a 2v1. The only thing is that Cammy was that player on bomb with the AR in his hand. Insight was all the way out towards lower trenches with the sniper. So it's a one-shot, one opportunity kind of thing. He misses it. Priestahh gets up with his life. Minnesota take the round.
If you had one shot, what would you do with it? Standy. Oh my goodness. Bance found. Sniper. Position is known. Like you said, that bomb. It falls in bottom palace. Or excuse me, toward bottom market. CleanX aggressive. What a shot. What just happened there? He had to be peppered. He had to be weak. And now off of that, Toronto feeling the confidence, utility, prepared and ready. They want to send us to a round 11, but will it happen? And will it be Priestahh that makes the difference? Insight trying to take him off of this site and take a look at what's going on in the minimap, Jay. They're rotating.
The rotate is coming in. But Havok, he's at least able to give the information to his team of what's going on. Insight wins a huge one-on-one versus Attach. Now puts it in 3v2 and Ultra right on back. But Havok has read this. Havok has read this. Can he find the timing? He finds the first one, finds the second as well. Now left is CleanX in a 1v2 and now a 1v1.
A 1v1 for the game. CleanX has got to plant down this bomb, but Priestahh will be there to seal the deal. And there you have it. $10,000 on the line in Minnesota. Clutch up again. A reverse sweep. A wild round, and one that was so difficult to predict.
What a series, man. What a series from both of these teams, but from Minnesota Røkkr. They've done it once before to win a championship. They're gonna get it done here. You can never count these guys out of any series, but gotta tip it. Very tippable performance from Havok from the second half of this series. He basically took over, was the risk taker, the playmaker, the all-around Mr. Do-It-All for this team. And then right behind him as well was Priestahh. This is a guy who was probably sitting at like a 0.9 before this series. He was doing what he needed to do. Even when Havok put up 40 kills on that map number 4, Priestahh was right there to at least match him when it came to the damage. Like, they just played so damn well to close out this second half of this series. And you can just tell Toronto Ultra, they started to get a little frantic in their gameplay. Right there, Havok, when he's playing the way that he is, confidence is flowing. He was making play after play. Now, let me tell you, if you're the Ultra boys, you're going to have nightmares about this guy. He just put you guys in an absolute mixtape. And I'm pretty sure with Minnesota getting this reverse sweep win, guarantees themselves winner side at Major III. Insane, insane stuff.
And Jay, look at the plays that Havok was making. Look at that. And then not only this, by the way, not only does he find these two, but throughout the round, he was basically the only player giving comms to his teammates on what was the constant back and forth rotation that Toronto was making. It's the Toronto special that we have known, right? That what he's been able, what that roster's been able to do since Cold War, over at A, back at B, catching teammates off guard, crossing them over basically on the map. But Havok, the route man, reads them. He goes off and he drops some unbelievable numbers in 3 through 5. Jay, he goes for a 1.62 in 3 through 5.
That's insane, man. Because if you start off a series, especially in a bow cage, where you're thinking like SMG, all right, he's probably going to go like 35 and 35, put up numbers like that. I'm pretty sure he goes -10. Like based off of those first two maps, 0.66. What a turnaround from Havok to put up a 1.6 towards the later half of this series to secure this win for his team. When we thought Minnesota, you know, they made a roster change. Okay, they didn't really show up at Pro-Am, but then they showed up here. They win 2 matches in the Battle of LA. But now they come out and complete the reverse sweep once again in the Battle of the North. Minnesota, they're here to stay, man.
What is with Bounty Week, man? We're starting things off with a full sale, a reverse sweep, and well, we always like to talk about Route Man getting paid, and Havok absolutely is getting paid today. A few nice, 10 racks on this matchup as we'll bring back in the desk, guys. A wild, really first 2 series, but a reverse sweep now for Minnesota. It was pretty easy in their first 2, getting things done versus LA. A quick 3-0. They had to work a little harder for this one. And
oh, dude, that was first of all, that was a great birthday gift for you, Jay. That was an amazing series, man. And I gotta say, guys, like Colt turning up in that series, that is what you need. I mean, at our point, it looked like he was just baiting everybody, and for good reason. The man was absolutely on fire, and it started with that control. Like what we saw, especially on their offense, getting 4 ticks off the rip, and then winning that defense in such dominating fashion. Like these guys, they look like the real deal right now, and it was. I mean, that was mainly all Colt, but also Priestahh. Priestahh was popping off as well. And that's what we need to see, a cohesive team effort in Search and Destroy Game 5. I love what I saw, the different looks. They just sent Colt to mid-building every single round, and he was so confident getting those kills, playing his life. It was perfection.
Did you notice the way that the game entirely changed the moment Havok started tearing things up, right? It was a simple fact that it looked like Minnesota, they were cut when it came to that hard point. And Havok had, what, 40 kills? And they were losing? He looked like Paco. He looked like Purple Paco on this team from what we saw stage 1, right? He turned up 41-21 for the big win, and then on that last map, what did he go?
13-7 for the Search and Destroy in that game 5. What's insane to me is it was all about the aggressive SMGs for both sides. It was CleanX who started off really, really hot, 36-34 in that opening bow cage, and then heading into that S&D was on the likes of Inside and CleanX as well. But then after that control, man, Minnesota just had a huge turnaround. We saw the creddy spots from Standy and Havok sitting on that brick in the corner of B site. We're like, what in the world is this?
Ben brought up a good point in the green room. He's like, why are you using that here? Like, seriously, in this series, like, save that for the tournament. But hey, it got them the turnaround, right? I was like, down 0-2, pulling out this spot for a measly little map win. Well, they get the series win, so it works.
Well, anything for a win, right? Because Minnesota Røkkr, they're working a way to get back to champs, and this looks good. This is a complete turnaround. 3 wins in a row, by the way, plus $10,000 in their pockets for winning their game in Bounty Week. But Toronto Ultra got a big L. They didn't play terrible, but Toronto still, things looking kind of...
The biggest thing is that they needed to take that Tuscan hardpoint. Minnesota Røkkr heading into the series was 0-6 in it. That was supposed to be like a gimme map for free when it came to likes of Toronto Ultra, but they ended up losing it 250-237. Very, 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 very winnable. And then heading to the game 5, I mean, they just could not shut down Havok.
Right. Well, there were a couple opportunities that Toronto had as well in the control that they kind of threw away. If you remember when Bance was set up, pushed up, waiting for the push, like if he just stays alive or cuts back to top church there and gets the kill, like they might potentially end up winning that round. So it's just for Toronto, just some miscalculation in plays and what we've seen before. But, you know, you got to give credit to where credit's due. And the Minnesota guys, Havok and Priestahh, both popping off, winning those ones. It's going to make it extremely difficult for you to get into any advantageous positions. And, you know, Toronto's not able to lock it up.
Oh, you're right. But, you know, we are able to lock up Game Fuel Mountain Dew post-victory spotlight with the one and only Priestahh. Shout out to Preston, by the way. Yo, Preston, you've been going crazy this stage. Congrats on the big win. But my question with you to start off the interview, what are you doing with your share of $10,000?
I don't really know. I'm probably just going to save it. You know, most of my money goes to food, so I'll probably just spend it on food.
Totally fair. I do have to ask about the 06 Tuscan heading into this, right? Because that usually would be an auto veto for you guys. So I'm wondering why it was let slip by. Was it looking better in scrims? Did you just want to test your luck? Or was there a map that you just really didn't want to get put into the series?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, we honestly went into this thing we were going to play Berlin, but Tuscan ended up slipping by. So, yeah, I mean, just in scrims and practice, we've been playing all the maps pretty well. So we're confident on every map right now. So we just went out there and did our thing.
Preston, you know, you've had a storied career. You've been fantastic, won plenty of championships, but you haven't been that great in this game so far. I saw that stat where it was like 4 or 5 series where you've went positive. You've turned it around in the last couple of series. You've been playing so good. What have you changed individually to get to this next level?
Yeah, for me, it's just like comfortability. Like I've ran every role so far, and just running every role, like swapping back and forth, it kind of throws me off. And I've been kind of like a fill player for a while, where I kind of just pick up the dirty work. So I've been kind of just focusing on actually like slaying and just making the best plays I can for my team to actually win the maps.
Well, it's working, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, Priestahh, last question. With Havok joining the team, you guys are 3 deep right now when it comes to big wins, right? How much has this changed the roster, and how excited are you to see the future of this team now, man? It's a whole new look.
Yeah, man, our energy is crazy with Havok. I mean, when we catch momentum, we're a scary team, so we just got to keep the momentum now, just going into our next couple matches.
I love it. Keep fragging, keep slaying, keep killing it, keep getting wins, man. We'll catch you next time, all right?
Yeah, appreciate it.
No problem. All right, so yeah, these players are actually kind of smart. I thought they were just gonna throw the money away, man. Other seasons I've been in, Gucci shoes, Balenciaga, whatever.
No, they're still rocking the designer. Don't let it fool you.
Okay.
They're humble on camera. When you see them, they're shining.
Right. So to put a bow on top of this series right here, Ali, any last words?
I mean, it was a longer series than I think most of us expected, and I'm really excited to see what Minnesota Røkkr continue to do. Because at first it's like, all right, new look team. All right, they're looking good. They got a win under their belt. Oh, they got another one. Oh, they got another one. So I'm excited to see what they can do.
Right. So also for those of you out there, and I wonder if there's a Minnesota Røkkr watch party right now. If there is one going on, what's going on? And you guys can support your team right now. Make sure you head over to gamefuel.com/CDL, because if you happen to purchase a pack of your favorite game fuel, try something new this time around, right? You can support your team by also selecting your team pack with it. I mean, what deal would be better than that? You get kill 2 birds with 1 stone, right?
Absolutely, man. You get some game fuel, so you get turnt, and then you get the drip, so you can get on while you're turnt, dripped out, and absolutely fry the competition in rank. So go ahead and get yourself some game fuel and pick your team packs.
Yes, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, 2 series down today. Pretty fun, right? We also have one more yet to come. It's going to be Florida versus the Los Angeles Guerrillas. Can't wait to see Gullis back in the lineup. But before we head into that, big shout out to Minnesota Røkkr for winning $10,000 in that amazing Game 5 win over the Toronto Ultra. But shout out to Toronto Ultra as well. We'll catch you guys on the other side of the break for the last series of the day. We'll see you soon.
What we came for, been here, done that. You all know what we came for. Energy, energy, energy. I need that energy, 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 energy. I need that. Been here, done that. You all know what we came for. Been here, done that. You all know what we came for. Energy, energy, energy. I need that energy, 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 energy. I need that energy, energy. Been here, we done that, we done that. You all know what we came for. Energy. I'm in the game like EA. Been in my prime since pre-K. Shooting my shot from long range. Going over heads a good toupee. Treat every day like payday. Y'all been living so mundane. My work week is Sunday to oh wait, that's every day. Putting in overtime. Punching the clock, I'ma get what's mine. While everyone's sleeping, I'm living my dreams. I got a coin that's so divine. Lord, take the wheel like 10 and 2. I'm losing energy, I'm overdue. I've been on the top ropes, hitting my pulls. Watch me hit the power moves. Been here, done that. You all know what we came for. Been here, done that. You all know what we came for. Energy, energy, energy. I need that energy, energy.